My name is Arthur Finch. I'm 50 years old, and until recently I was the head of product development at Innovate Labs, a renowned tech company based in Boston. For 20 years, I dedicated my life to this company. I was the brain behind innovative products that generated millions in revenue, delivering flawless results and cultivating unquestionable loyalty to the company. I was the creative backbone, the guarantee that our products would always be ahead of the competition. But despite my competence, I was seen as the technical guy, not the heir to power. I'm a man of integrity, hard-working, with a strategic nature. My discretion and focus on products made me appear less ambitious than I actually was planning to be. I thought loyalty and results spoke for themselves. I was wrong. If you enjoy stories of cold-blooded revenge and gripping plot twists, like this video and subscribe to the channel now. There are brand new, unreleased stories here every day, each one more intense than the last. The betrayal came without warning. I was caught off guard when the company founder, Mr. Harrison Thorne, named his own son, Liam Thorne, as the new CEO. Liam was 30 years old, inexperienced and arrogant. He had spent more time posting on LinkedIn about disruptive innovation than actually innovating anything. A few weeks after taking over, Liam called me into his corner office. The same office where I had countless productive meetings with his father over the years. He sat behind that massive mahogany desk, barely looking up from his MacBook Pro. "Arthur," he said, finally making eye contact, "I've been reviewing our organizational structure, and I think it's time for some new directions." I knew what was coming. 20 years of reading people in boardrooms had taught me to recognize the signs. "I'm letting you go," Liam continued, his voice as cold as a January morning in Boston. "Nothing personal, but the company needs fresh perspectives. We're moving in a different direction." Fresh perspectives, new directions, corporate speak for, "I want you gone." I sat there for a moment, absorbing the betrayal. The man I had mentored through summer internships, whose father I had helped build this company from a small startup in Cambridge to a multi-million-dollar operation, was discarding me like yesterday's newspaper. "I see," I said calmly. "When do you need me to clear out my office?" Liam seemed surprised by my composed reaction. He probably expected anger, pleading, or at least some emotion. "End of the week should be fine," he replied, already turning back to his laptop. That was it. 20 years reduced to a 5-minute conversation. The betrayal hit me like a punch to the gut, but I didn't react with scandal or drama. Instead, the anger transformed into something much more dangerous, calculated calm. I had been preparing for this possibility longer than Liam realized. My intuition, forged through years of leadership and talent identification, had been telling me this transition would be a disaster. Even before his appointment, Liam had demonstrated a fundamental lack of understanding about product development and internal processes. His focus was more on social media marketing and venture capital networking than on real innovation. He was all flash, no substance. So I had been quietly preparing, not out of malice, but out of professional survival instinct. I had cultivated deep bonds of loyalty with the key talents in the development team and with strategic clients, not through manipulation or poaching, but through the excellence of my work and the personal trust we had built over the years. I was their reference point, their go-to person when things got complicated. Marcus Chen, our lead software architect, had been with me for 12 years. Sarah Martinez, our UX design director, had joined the company specifically to work under my leadership. These weren't just employees. They were professionals who respected my judgment and valued my mentorship. More importantly, they understood that innovation came from careful planning and execution, not from buzzwords and PowerPoint presentations. Our clients felt the same way. Companies like TechFlow Industries and Digital Dynamics had contracts worth over $3 million annually, and their CTOs had my direct phone number. When they needed solutions, they called me, not the sales department. I had clear records of all my contributions and projects stored safely in my personal cloud storage. Patents filed under my name, performance reviews, client testimonials, 20 years of documentation that proved my value. More importantly, I had been building the legal and financial structure for a new company for the past 6 months. Not because I planned to leave, but because I believed in having contingency plans. My attorney, Janet Morrison from Morrison & Associates, had helped me set up Apex Innovations, LLC. All the paperwork was ready, sitting in a folder in my home office in Newton. The business license, the tax ID, the trademark applications. Everything was prepared to be activated at a moment's notice. During my final week at Innovate Labs, I maintained my professional demeanor. I documented all ongoing projects, organized my files, and prepared detailed transition notes. I even offered to train my replacement, though Liam never bothered to identify one. "Don't worry about the transition," he told me on Thursday afternoon. "We'll figure it out." That phrase would come back to haunt him. On Friday, I packed my personal belongings into a single cardboard box. 20 years of career achievements reduced to family photos, a MIT coffee mug, and a small cactus plant that Sarah had given me for my birthday. As I walked through the office for the last time, I noticed the worried glances from my team members. They knew something was wrong. Marcus approached me near the elevator. "Arthur, is it true? Are you really leaving?" "Yes," I said simply. "It's time for me to pursue other opportunities." "But what about the Quantum Sync project? We're 3 weeks away from the beta launch." I looked at him steadily. "I'm sure the new leadership will handle it appropriately." Marcus understood. He had worked with me long enough to recognize the subtext in my words. I spent the weekend in my home office making phone calls, not to poach employees or steal clients, but to inform key people about my departure. I kept the conversations professional and brief. "Hi, this is Arthur Finch. I wanted to let you know that I'm no longer with Innovate Labs. I've started my own company, Apex Innovations, and I'm excited about the opportunities ahead." The responses were immediate and telling. "Arthur, what happened?" asked Robert Chen, CTO of TechFlow Industries. "You were the reason we chose Innovate Labs in the first place." "I understand your concern, Robert. I'm not asking you to make any hasty decisions. I just wanted to inform you about my new venture." "Send me your information," he said without hesitation. "We might have some projects that would be perfect for your new company." Similar conversations happened throughout the weekend. I wasn't actively recruiting. I was simply communicating a change in my professional status. The market would decide what happened next. By Monday morning, my phone was ringing constantly. Marcus Chen called at 8 a.m. "Arthur, I need to talk to you. Liam called an emergency meeting this morning. He's panicking because 3 major clients have already reached out asking about project continuity. He has no idea how to handle the Quantum Sync deployment." "I'm sorry to hear that," I replied calmly. "He's asking everyone if they know how to reach you. He wants to offer you a consulting contract." I almost smiled. I'm sure he'll figure it out. That Tuesday, Sarah Martinez submitted her resignation. Wednesday, it was Marcus Chen. By Friday, 6 key members of the development team had left Innovate Labs, not because I asked them to, but because they recognized a sinking ship when they saw one. I officially launched Apex Innovations the following Monday. My first 3 clients were companies that had followed me from Innovate Labs, bringing contracts worth over $4 million. The talent that had left my former company began reaching out, interested in joining my new venture. Everything I had built over 20 years was walking out of Innovate Labs' door, and Liam Thorne was powerless to stop it. The chaos at Innovate Labs was swift and devastating. Within 3 weeks of my departure, the company was hemorrhaging talent and clients at an alarming rate. The Quantum Sync project, which was supposed to be their flagship product launch, collapsed completely. Without the core development team, they had no one who understood the architecture or could troubleshoot the complex integration issues. Liam's inexperience became glaringly obvious. He had no idea how to manage technical teams or handle client relationships. His solution to every problem was to schedule more meetings and create more PowerPoint presentations. Meanwhile, critical deadlines were being missed, and bugs were piling up in their existing products. The first desperate call came on a Thursday evening. I was at home in Newton reviewing business plans for Apex Innovations when my phone rang. It was Mr. Harrison Thorne himself. "Arthur, His voice was strained, almost pleading. "We need to talk." "Hello, Harrison," I replied calmly. "How can I help you?" "You know damn well how you can help me. This company is falling apart. Half our development team is gone, and our biggest clients are threatening to cancel their contracts." "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, maintaining my professional tone. "Cut the crap, Arthur. I know you're behind this. Come back. I'll give you whatever you want. Your old position, double the salary, complete autonomy over the development department. Hell, I'll make you president of the company." I paused, letting the silence stretch. "I appreciate the offer, Harrison, but I'm quite happy with my current situation. Listen to me." His voice became more urgent. "I made a mistake. Liam made a mistake. We can fix this." "Some mistakes can't be fixed," I replied quietly, then hung up. The next day, Liam himself called. His arrogance had been replaced by barely concealed panic. "Arthur, we need to discuss terms for your return," he said, trying to sound authoritative but failing miserably. "I'm not interested in returning, Liam." "Look, I know we got off on the wrong foot, but—" "No," I interrupted. "We got off on exactly the right foot. You showed me who you really are, and I believed you. The company needs you. My father needs you. We're prepared to offer you a very generous package. The company needed me 3 weeks ago. You decided otherwise." The desperation in his voice was palpable. "Please, Arthur. I'm asking for your help." "I'm sure you'll figure it out," I said, using his own words from our last meeting. "After all, you wanted fresh perspectives." I hung up and blocked his number. By the end of the month, the situation at Innovate Labs had become critical. The Boston Business Journal ran a story titled, "Tech Giant Innovate Labs Faces Talent Exodus." The article detailed the departure of key personnel and the resulting project failures. My name was mentioned as the former head of product development, who had recently started his own competing firm. The legal threats came next. I received a cease and desist letter from Wagner, Klein and Associates, claiming that I had violated non-compete agreements and engaged in tortious interference with client relationships. The letter demanded that I stop poaching employees and clients from Innovate Labs. I forwarded the letter to my attorney, Janet Morrison, who responded with a detailed rebuttal. She pointed out that my non-compete clause had several unenforceable provisions and that I had documented proof of my professional conduct during the transition. More importantly, she noted that employees leaving voluntarily and clients choosing to work with a different vendor were not illegal activities. "They're grasping at straws," Janet told me during a meeting at her office in downtown Boston. "Their case is weak and they know it. This is just intimidation." She was right. The legal threats disappeared as quickly as they had appeared. Meanwhile, Apex Innovations was thriving. I had assembled a team of 12 highly skilled professionals, including 8 former Innovate Labs employees who had joined me voluntarily. We were working on cutting-edge projects for clients who valued innovation over corporate politics. The contrast was stark. While Innovate Labs was struggling to maintain their existing client base, Apex Innovations was expanding rapidly. We signed contracts with 3 Fortune 500 companies in our first month of operation. Our office in Cambridge, just a few miles from Innovate Labs, was buzzing with the energy of a startup combined with the experience of seasoned professionals. Marcus Chen, now my Chief Technology Officer, summed it up perfectly during a team meeting. "It's amazing what we can accomplish when we're not spending half our time in pointless meetings explaining why innovation takes time." The tech community in Boston began to take notice. TechCrunch published an article about the brain drain at Innovate Labs and the rapid rise of Apex Innovations. The piece included quotes from industry insiders who described me as the real brains behind Innovate Labs' success and predicted that my new company would disrupt the established order. Reading that article, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction, not because of the publicity, but because the market was recognizing the truth. Competence matters more than connections, and loyalty is a two-way street. Liam Thorne's reputation as a CEO was crumbling. Industry forums were filled with discussions about his poor decision-making and the exodus of talent from his company. Harrison Thorne was facing pressure from the board of directors, who were questioning his judgment in appointing his son to such a critical position. The empire I had built was now working against them, and they had no one to blame but themselves. 6 months after my departure, the transformation was complete. Apex Innovations had become a major player in the Boston tech scene, attracting the best talent and the most prestigious clients. We had moved to a larger office in the Seaport district, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Boston Harbor. The contrast with my former cubicle at Innovate Labs was symbolic of how far I had come. My reputation as an innovator, human leader, and strategic mastermind was unshakable. Harvard Business School invited me to speak at their Entrepreneurship Summit. The Massachusetts Technology Council nominated me for their Innovator of the Year award. Forbes featured me in their 40 over 40 list of business leaders making an impact. But the real vindication came from the market itself. Apex Innovations' revenue in our first year exceeded $8 million. We had secured contracts with major corporations like General Electric, Raytheon, and Boston Scientific. Our product development cycle was faster, our client satisfaction rates were higher, and our employee retention was nearly perfect. Meanwhile, Innovate Labs was circling the drain. The company that had once been valued at over $50 million was now struggling to pay its bills. The Quantum Sync project had been officially canceled after 6 months of failed attempts to salvage it. 3 more major clients had terminated their contracts, citing unacceptable delays and quality issues. The Boston Globe ran a devastating exposé titled, "The Fall of Innovate Labs: How Nepotism Destroyed a Tech Empire." The article detailed Harrison Thorne's decision to promote his unqualified son and the subsequent exodus of talent. It quoted former employees who described the toxic work environment and Liam's complete inability to understand the technical aspects of the business. He thought running a tech company was like playing a video game, one anonymous former employee told the Globe. Point, click, and magic happens. He had no idea about the complexity of software development or the importance of maintaining client relationships. The article also highlighted my success with Apex Innovations, noting that the real architect of Innovate Labs Innovations had simply taken his blueprints elsewhere. The final blow came in the form of a board meeting that I learned about through industry connections. The board of directors, led by venture capitalist Patricia Walsh, had finally run out of patience with the Thorne family's leadership. "We're hemorrhaging money," Walsh reportedly told Harrison during the meeting. "Your son has destroyed everything you built over the past 20 years. We need to discuss succession planning." Harrison's response was predictable. More excuses, more promises that things would turn around, more attempts to blame external factors for their failures. But the numbers don't lie. Innovate Labs' stock price had dropped 70%. They had laid off half their workforce. Their offices in Cambridge were mostly empty, with several floors sitting vacant because they couldn't afford the rent. The irony was perfect. Liam Thorne, who had dismissed me as irrelevant, was now desperately trying to hire consultants to rebuild what I had created. But expertise can't be purchased off the shelf. It's built through years of experience, relationships, and trust. I received one final call from Harrison Thorne on a cold February morning. This time, his voice was completely broken. "Arthur," he said, barely above a whisper, "I'm sorry. I'm so damn sorry." "I know you are, Harrison," I replied, and I meant it. Despite everything, I felt no satisfaction in his pain. "I've lost everything," he continued. "The company, my reputation, my relationship with my son. The board is forcing me to sell. We're going to lose everything." I sat in my office looking out at the harbor, considering my response. "You didn't lose everything, Harrison. You chose to give it away." "I know," he said quietly. "I chose family over fairness. I chose loyalty over logic, and it cost me everything that mattered." "Some lessons are expensive," I said gently. "Would you consider—" He began, then stopped. "No, forget it. I have no right to ask." "Take care of yourself, Harrison," I said and hung up for the last time. 3 weeks later, Innovate Labs was sold to a California-based tech conglomerate for $12 million, less than a quarter of its previous valuation. Harrison Thorne retired in disgrace, Liam Thorne was unable to find another executive position in the tech industry. His LinkedIn profile still lists him as seeking new opportunities. As for me, I had learned the most important lesson of my professional life. True leadership isn't about the title on your business card or the corner office you occupy. It's about the courage to defend what's right, even when it's difficult. It's about building something based on merit, not connections. The empire I built from the ashes of betrayal became a testament to the power of strategic thinking and patient execution. Apex Innovations now employs over 60 people, has offices in Boston and Austin, and continues to grow every quarter. Sometimes the best revenge is simply being successful. When people underestimate you, when they think you're dispensable, when they choose politics over performance, the market has a way of correcting their mistakes. Years later, I still receive LinkedIn messages from former Innovate Labs employees asking about opportunities at Apex Innovations. I consider each application carefully, not out of spite, but because I've learned that talent deserves to be valued, regardless of where it comes from. The taste of betrayal never completely fades, but it can be transformed into something more powerful. The motivation to build something better than what was taken from you. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and leave a comment telling me what you thought. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive updates on new stories like this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.